Hey, Skippy. Hi. We're a bit early. I know we're a bit early. It's okay if there's one person. I'm here to answer your questions. Oh, so I do want to say, hey, Skippy. This live is not recorded, but I'm here to answer any of your questions that you had that we discussed in the comments. People can join in. I'll be here for about an hour, maybe 45 minutes. Where are the other 14? Oh, they must be slackers. So, but you're here, and that's fine. Hey, it's first live. It's all good. It's fine. There's no need to worry. So, what were your questions? We're doing the live question and answer. So, what were your questions, Skippy? I've been saving it. I just read a book based. I've been saving up questions. I just read a book based in Australia, and they were selling a house. All right. Okay. Well, let's answer as I'll answer as many as I can, just with what I know. So whenever you wanna begin, it was an auction. There didn't seem to be a base price. Okay. So the people had to accept the highest bid. So is your question, is that how they do it in Z for auctions? Well, that depends in auctions. It also depends on the property title. So we got freehold, we got leasehold, we got what was it? Unit title and cross lease. And for auctions, usually they don't. It's not the highest price in New Zealand. So for the ones that I went to, but the differentiation in the title might have to do with that. I only went to freehold ones, so I wouldn't know about the other ones. No, it seemed like auction the auction was how they had to sell the property. No, you don't have to sell your house in auction. You can sell it privately. You can sell it through like a real estate agent, as we do over here. Questions? Can you still? My side, there's a bit lagging, but definitely, yeah, you can still sell your house the same way over here. That seemed crazy. No, it would have been crazy. Oh, that was, what book was it? Like, what what I have to look up this book. What other questions while you're typing? Because I can just view the comments. Kia ora to the second person. Hello, Geneva here, Neva. I can't actually see who. Sally kept with the younger. All right, okay, so like more of a fiction novel. Okay, the younger wife. No, that's crazy. I'm gonna have to look that book up though. I'm gonna write it down because that's an interesting thing that they would put in a fiction book. Yeah, no. So what other questions did you have? Since you've been saving them up, I'm excited to answer them. I hope everyone's having a good day so far. If I go to New Zealand on a 3-month visa, what can I expect as far as renting a place or places? So how do you mean, like getting into a rental, or are we talking about just trying to find a rental, or in what way? Like you're on a 3-month visa, you for it depends on the lease term. So in New Zealand they do short-term leases. Sometimes it's 3 months, sometimes it's 6 months, sometimes it's 9 months. That's usually with a more private lister. And so with rentals, in New Zealand, we do a 4 weeks bond, which is like your security deposit over here. And then there's 2 weeks rent. But with the short-term leases, there's usually just a couple weeks bond that you would have to pay out first. And that's the security deposit. Say I got the same place for 3 months. Can I pay all at once or by the week? You would pay by the week. That's usually how it's done in New Zealand. We have weekly rent payments. And like I said, there's that minuscule security deposit depending on your lease. And there's usually a 2 weeks rent upfront. They actually got rid of the letting fee. And if you don't know what a letting fee is, it's a fee that the landlord would pay the letting agent for services provided. They got rid of that, I think, a few years back, which was nice. So you didn't have to pay that extra money. Yeah. Where were you thinking of, renting? So we'll get a long-term renter. So would a long-term renter only give 1 week notice to move? A long-term renter, it depends on your leasing terms, like your renting terms. So when I was renting, I would have to give my landlords, because it was long term, like longer than 3 months, I would have to give my landlords a minimum of 30 days notice to fill the spot. Like a long term, like say you're going to stay there more than a year, it's like can be 30 days notice, but again, it does depend on your leasing terms. Haven't gotten that far. You haven't gotten that far to where you want to do like a trip? Okay. I'm into rock art. That would be the main interest on the trip. Rock art. What are we talking about, like art on rocks, or are we talking about like literal like rock art? I forgot what that's called, by the way. Petroglyphs. Yeah, there we go. Petroglyphs. Oh, I'm trying to think of where there would be petroglyphs in New Zealand, in Aotearoa. I'll have to look that one up. I'll have to I also ask my my partner, which is still there. Because to be honest, I wasn't paying attention to the rocks when I was hiking. I was just more paying attention to the views and the plants. I like my plants. So what's your budget, Skippy? What would, if you haven't, it's okay if you haven't gotten that far either. What was my job? I have many jobs. many jobs. I've been a personal trainer, a demonstrator, worked for the university, was a recruiter there, had a lot of hats. And so I was there for over 10 years, so done a lot of things over there. A lot of good experiences though. So have you started your visa process yet, Skippy? My budget will be, woo, Skippy, your budget will be po. Okay. Keep in mind when you're paying rent, so say Auckland rent, for a studio apartment, it's $4.95 per week in New Zealand dollars. So if we transfer that, I'm gonna do a little 195 to, it's $304. How is the camping? Camping. I love New Zealand camping. The main reason is nothing tries to eat you there, so which is always a plus. But the camping itself is, you usually apply for a little camping permit via the Department of Conservation, and you can book your spot or you can book a hut. So you can either do a tent or you can do a hut, which is like just a house you can stay in and rent for the time being. If you want to do like a camping permit, or if you have like an RV, you can apply for an RV permit. Are you more of like a hiking person, or is it just the camping to look at the petroglyphs? I had a bear on the front porch last night. My life is camping. There are no bears in Aotearoa, New Zealand. You might get, if you're lucky, you might get some some weta visit you. You might get if you're down on the South Island, you might get a weka to visit you. It's a type of bird. Is it expensive to camp in a tent? The dock permit for the dock permit, it's not too expensive, and it does depend on where you are camping. So the prices do vary from North Island to South Island and the camping site. But in my experience, it's not expensive. If camping's your life, camp away. Apparently someone cannot ask a question. Here we go. Hiking plans, rock art, not a surfer or anything else. Usually heading into mountains. I like rivers. We do have a lot of rivers. I do love the rivers. I mean, I'm a freshwater fish person. I love my fly fishing. So I love New Zealand rivers for that reason. Just camping and just walk over to the river is actually really, really nice. Someone cannot. Someone can't seem to comment, which is very strange. What's your favorite type of plants? Because New Zealand does have a hello. Hey, Lefty. How you doing? Finally figured out how to use StreamYard. How is it getting around? I have MS and don't drive anymore. I'm good with walking. Is there much public transport? I'm good. Getting around. So you can do public transport, but getting to the camping sites with public transport is going to be a little bit harder, especially if the camping site is off the main road. Like New Zealand has quite good public transport, especially if you're going out from Auckland. However, if you go more towards the South Island, then public transport is a little bit hit and miss, just because of the vastness of the South Island. Like, it's not very populated. If you're good with walking, then it should be okay. What if I rented an electric bike? Depending on where you want to camp, an electric bike could work. A lot of the trails that lead to the camp sites can be accessed via like mountain biking or e-bike. But some of the sites can't, so it really just depends on, where you want to go. An electric bike is pretty good, just again with the vastness of the South Island and where you're going. It just really depends. Like, I wouldn't recommend doing an electric bike if you're trying to go in a camping site in, say, Wanaka or something in the South Island. You got any questions, Lefty? Yay. You got any questions, Morgan? It's just a party in here. Not about New Zealand. But do you have any other questions that aren't about New Zealand? Well, I can answer on the live, even though it's a live question and answer for New Zealand, for Aotearoa. Lefty wants to know if there's Philly cheesesteak there. Philly cheesesteak. Oh, I'm sorry, but I have yet to find. There might be one place in Auckland that does a Philly cheesesteak, and I forgot where it was, but it tasted not good. So it's not a thing, unfortunately. How do you put the subscribe? How do you put the subscribe thing at the end of your shorts? Well, I just used my shorts in like Clipchamp, and then I put it there. But there's like a whole list of subscribe buttons that I put. Because I've never done a short in a YouTube way. I've always done it on other methods. What's fishing like in New Zealand? Well, what type of fishing are we talking about? Are we talking about surf casting, or are we talking about fly fishing? If we're talking about surf casting, you can go on a beach and do that, and you might get an occasional shark attached, get some kelp. But if you want to do fly fishing and go in a river like awesome people, definitely surf casting, of course. If you're looking for a serene scene with the beer, surf casting is the way to go. You might get a bite, but if you want to, like I said, be awesome like other people and do fly fishing and get some trout, then yeah. But if you love the ocean, surf casting is the way to go. So what else? See, but did you ask about a mortgage in one of the comments? I'm pretty sure. Are you thinking about buying a house over there, which is really hard to do if you're not from New Zealand? How long are you in the States for? I can go back and forth, so however long I choose to be here. Maybe till late December. It's good to be back, though. It's definitely it was an interesting feeling being back, but yeah. So Oh, okay. So for camping, Skippy, have you been to Oz? Any good New Zealand writers to recommend? Oh, these are coming through. But like New Zealand writers. Hmm. Oh, I'm trying to think. New Zealand writers. Hmm. If there was one I could actually, no, there are good New Zealand writers. I just can't think of them at the moment. But I do have my handy dandy little book here of Kiwiana, which I can recommend if you want to learn a little bit more about. So they do have some writers listed in here. I just have to find them. But yeah, no, I can't think of any good New Zealand writers. I'm just not a super book reader. They're in the fiction. Anyway, in the fiction. Have you been to Oz? Yes, I've been to Gold Coast, Byron Bay. It's just a hop, skip, and a jump over. And it only cost $200 because it was on sale. What are the questions? Maori stories about Maui, oh, the way to go. Maori stories about Maui are the way to go. That's pretty cheap. It was cheap, right? Like the flight. That was when things go on sale, like when Air New Zealand has a sale, or you can book in advance. I forgot what it's called. Grab a seat. Definitely book those tickets. Like some seats are like 50, 60, $70. So definitely worth it. And what about the comments are it's a bit of a lag on my end. Actually, before I might put what restaurants would you recommend from your own experience? Ooh, restaurants from where in New Zealand? Like if we're talking about Palmerston North, or aka Palmy, I'm gonna recommend Cafe Cuba on Cuba Street. And if we're talking about Wellington, that's going to be a hard one because there's so many good ones. But are we talking about Auckland? If we're talking about Auckland, then I would definitely check out it's actually in Chancery Square, is it? It's right. It's in Auckland, but it's a cute little Thai place where you don't actually have to go in and order your food. You can just do it like right when you walk in, and they just put your food through like this glass tube. You don't even see them make it. It's just ready. You just wait there. I have to look up the name. But it's literally right next to all over it. Well, it's going to take me some time to cumulatively answer that. That's a really good Thai place in Auckland. If you're looking for a snack, I definitely recommend Mighty Hot Dog. It's a nice Korean hot dog place. It's like fried. It's like a fried breaded hot dog. You can get it covered in like potatoes or cheese and bread, a glass tube. Yeah, so it's you walk in and you just order it off the little tablet and it's the order sent and the kitchen is behind like this whole like curtained and glass uh entryway, so you can't really see what they're doing, but their food just is in a nice little box to go. Like you can't eat there. It's just you just get it to go. But it tastes delicious. Like a vacuum tube. No. No, it's like a round it's a large enough tube to stick like a like a Chinese canteen. No, you don't see a person. No, you see no one. They just push it in. And another place that I would recommend is is it C4? I'm gonna look it up. If you're going down Christchurch, is it C1 or C4? And C4, where they actually do deliver your food in a tube. It's a coffee and burger place, a nice little cafe. Um, C4. Yeah, it is C4, right? C4 Coffee Company. The whole building in Christchurch used to be a mailroom. So you know how or actually no, it used to be a bank. Sorry, it used to be a bank. You know how the banks used to send like the money in the tubes. That's how they send your food to your table. Like the kitchen prepares it and they put it in a tube and they push a button and it falls right in. Definitely check out C4 in Christchurch. That's like a vacuum tube. And on the way down to Christchurch, when you get to Kaikoura, there on the stop where you take a photo, there is this one shack, which is, I'll get to that. Have you been to Queenstown? What experience would you recommend? All right, we're gonna go to Kaikoura first, and then we'll go to Queenstown. On the main strip, before you get into Kaikoura, where you take a photo, there is literally, I'm pretty sure, Kaikoura's best fish and chips, hands down, with fried pawa and there's fried oysters there. It was so delicious. But yes, I have been to Queenstown, and one of the experiences I would recommend would be the ice bar. Very cold, but if you want to go into like a giant freezer with everything made of ice and get a drink, definitely that. I would go in the summer though, not in the winter when I went for my birthday. It was too cold, too cold to do a lot of the things. But if you're into snowboarding, I definitely would recommend that as well. It's about 5 minutes outside central Queenstown. You can go to the mountain. What other questions? No, it's getting a bit long-winded because I've been talking for 30 minutes, so that's okay. Let's see what coffee Christchurch. Anybody have any questions on grocery prices? Because there's a difference that I could talk about. I'm into birds. How's the bird watching? Yes, I love bird watching. You're a birder too. Bird watching is amazing. Cost of living. Okay. The birds. So definitely when you go camping is a fantastic time for bird watching. From everything to the tui to the fantail, and what can I say? It's just, especially if you're just sitting there and you do have to look for New Zealand birds because they do blend in quite well. But once you spot them, they're beautiful. Are you into, I guess, like parrots? Because New Zealand does have the only world's alpine parrot, which is down in the South Island. So if you're definitely into that, I'd say go down south. There you won't have to do so much bird watching. The birds will come to you and bite your tires. But if you go camping, then you get to see a lot of weka as well. What does the money look like? What does the money look like? So the US has a lot of paper money, obviously, but New Zealand has a mixture of like plastic and paper. And so I'll show you a photo. The cost of living. Yeah, you're welcome, Skippy. Yeah, definitely bird watching is like New Zealand's also the bird watching paradise. New Zealand dollar. So I'll show you a photo. I don't know if you can, but oh, no. But it's definitely a more colorful aspect of money. There's no $1 in New Zealand, so there's hundreds, 50s, 20s. I think there is a 5 and 10s. Cost of living is really high because it's on an island. Have you seen the moa? The moa are extinct, but you can see them in a museum. If you want to, along with the bird watching, if you want to view kiwi, there are kiwi expeditions that you can take. They're usually at nighttime, so kiwis only hunt and come out at night. The cost of living is very high. You're paying like $20 for some eggs right now, such as island inflation. What? What? Yeah, so like I said, it's give me save up, before you go. Yeah, no, inflation's pretty intense right now. I remember when it didn't used to be that bad, but yeah, do many people keep chickens? Oh, in the country, absolutely. They keep chickens. You can see a lot of sheep there, a lot of chickens. And those are the best eggs that you get. You could just go to your neighbor's house and get a couple of eggs. Those are the best. So good. I used to do that all the time when I lived there, because we usually didn't live like in the city. We usually lived just outside. So I used to work on a poultry farm as well. So I love my chickens. Hate the roosters, but I love the chickens. No, but you can do that in Queenstown. I've never jumped off a bridge bungee jumping. But if you also wanted to jump off things, there is the Auckland Sky Tower. If you didn't want to go all the way down to Queenstown, you could just jump off the Auckland Sky Tower and then be hoisted back up. It's one of the many fun things about New Zealand to do, is the adventure. If you're an adventurer, it's the place for you. What else we got this round? Anyway. And you seem surprised, Skippy, at the inflation prices. What are a couple of things you would say not to miss? Not to miss. If you're there in the summertime, so I know you're a camper, so I'm just going to mainly gear it towards spring and summer. If you're there in the summertime, I would definitely say don't miss some of the sky action if you're camping. There are a lot of shooting stars, and you can see some of the Milky Way if you look up, especially in summer. And then another thing that you don't really want to miss is, was it $20 for a day? Hell yeah, I was surprised. Hey, island life is expensive, mate. It's expensive. Some of the other things I would say don't miss, even if you are just camping, is definitely try to get along the coastal trails if you're hiking and camping, so you don't miss migrations, especially of whales and dolphins. I'm a huge star watcher. There you go. South Island is a place to be, but if you can't make it to the South Island, again, I would definitely say at least kind of make it into the middle of nowhere. I went to Australia and never looked up. That's not exciting. Like, how could you miss, not looking up, like at the sorry, everything. If you're a huge star watcher and you look at all the constellations and you look up, they're all backwards. And you're like, okay, I used to, best time for migrations. I'd say the start of for dolphin migrations, for bird watching. There's not too many migrations that happen in New Zealand for bird watching, but for dolphin migrations, it's definitely the beginning of summer, which is late November. That's when a lot of the action starts. What, have you been to Whangarei and Aotearoa? Yes, Whangarei and Rotorua. Definitely, if you like hot pools, again, a lot of hiking and mountain biking trails. If you want to be near some active volcanoes, which is most of the volcanoes there, sleeping active volcanoes, I guess, definitely go to Rotorua. If you can handle the smell, then you'll be fine. Both. Bird migrations, not so much for bird migrations, but for definitely dolphin and whale migrations at the start of summer. So you definitely don't want to miss those. So late November going into December. And sometimes, depending on the season, it can start in mid-November. I forgot to mention, did I mention that? If you're star watching and you look up, especially in summer, do people hate tourists? If you're star watching and you look up in summer, you'll see, I think I said it's the Milky Way, and there's another one that's down there that I can't remember that you would see just looking up. Do the people hate tourists? Oh, diplomatically, no, if you're respectful. It's just, it's just a matter about respect, right? Even here, if you're touring another state, then just be respectful of the locals. They're there. They're living there all year round, all day, every day, and it's just, a matter of respecting their property. But tourism's a billion-dollar industry, so no one hates tourists. But it is just a matter of being, just respectful. So we're going to be wrapping up in about 3 minutes. So I've been talking for quite a while. Any more questions that I can answer this time around? Oh, I did want to mention, if you are down there during summer, there are cruises. If you can afford it, it's quite a hefty amount of money. But if you can afford it, you can go to Antarctica. I mean, a minimum trip is $3,000, but I'm just saying the options there if you wanted to go to a place where not many people go. Oh, thanks, Skiffy. No, I love, answering. I hope I'm answering your questions. It's just a matter of, where in New Zealand, like what, and pulling on my experiences. I know your channel. Oh, thank you so much. I'm excited. I'm excited to grow the channel and talk more about Aotearoa, New Zealand. And then when I go back, I can take you guys with me. We can do, a live or two, and you can see what I see. How many different tribes are in New Zealand? Oh boy, how many different iwis are tribes are called iwis? Or tribes in New Zealand? Oh gosh. It's a link. I would have to look that up. I would love to go to Antarctica. Huh? No, yeah, you're welcome. I do think it, excuse me, I do think it like leaves from Stewart Island, but I'd have to double check that. But yeah. Sorry, Morgan, I'll have to look it up. I have to look up how many iwis are in New Zealand. I should know it, but I married a Maori and he's Ngāpuhi, so I know the one. I know other tribes is Ngāi but yeah. Any other questions before we wrap up? Thanks, Nina. Thanks, guys. Thank you so much. Thank you, Skippy. And there is more content coming soon if there's no more questions. I really thank you guys for being here today. Thanks for supporting the channel and supporting me. I really do appreciate it. You guys have a great Sunday. Get ready for the week. Get some rest. And I will see you in the next video. Thanks so much, guys. Bye.